A homeless man named Nada, who arrives in Los Angeles from Colorado in hopes of finding a decent job. He visits the employment office, which is overflowing with people like him. The officer asks about his last job and informs him that they don't have anything suitable for him at the moment. Unemployment has affected the lower and middle classes due to economic decline, and it's clear that Nada won't be finding a job anytime soon. As he wanders around the neighborhood, he encounters a preacher rambling about a secret organization that rules the world and has corrupted the hearts and minds of the leaders and the rich to profit off of the poor. Nada dismisses the preacher's words as nonsense and walks away when he sees the police coming. While walking down the road, he notices a man staring into the TV as if he's being hypnotized by the show. The same thing happens at night with an old man. Nada still doesn't think much of it and continues looking for a job the next day. Eventually, he's hired as a laborer at a construction site. After a day of hard work, he meets a fellow laborer named Frank Armitage, who offers him a meal and a place to sleep at a local shanty town where most of the workers live. At night, the people at the shanty town are watching TV when suddenly the show is interrupted by a man relaying a strange message. He vaguely talks about a dangerous signal being sent through the mass media to the lower class people, and the viewers all collectively get a headache as they listen to him. They don't think much of the message and continue watching the show when the problem is fixed. The next morning, the message plays on TV again. At this point, the individual asserts that the lower and middle class have become slaves to wealthy individuals who are not human. Suddenly, Nada observes a man rushing toward a nearby church, as if he possesses knowledge about the peculiar messages. Nada follows the man and covertly enters the church. Upon investigation, he discovers a facility manufacturing a specific type of sunglasses with the message, "They live, we sleep," written on the wall. Nada cannot decipher its meaning, but soon uncovers the horrifying truth it signifies. In another part of the church, a group of people who have formed a union are found. They are the ones hacking TV signals to relay those messages. That night, a large police force raids the church as the mentioned organization flees. Several bulldozers are brought in to destroy the shantytown, and anyone who resists is brutally beaten. The next morning, after everything is settled down, Nada goes to the church and sees that the writing on the wall has been painted over. He realizes that the police had no reason to hide the writing if it didn't hold significant meaning. The previous day, he had noticed a secret compartment in the building. He finds that the police failed to discover the compartment and opens it himself. Inside, he finds a box full of the sunglasses that were being manufactured. He keeps one pair for himself and hides the rest in a garbage can. When Nada wears the glasses for the first time, he sees a reality that the naked human eye cannot perceive. He looks around and discovers the word "obey" written on a billboard advertising a controlled data corporation. Similarly, another billboard with a woman lying on the beach says "marry and reproduce." Nada soon comprehends that the world is replete with subliminal messages that manipulate and influence human brains into carrying out actions they are not conscious of. He realizes that the rich and powerful are being aided by malevolent organizations that collectively manipulate the lower classes. As Nada explores the new world, like consume, obey, and sleep written everywhere, some media urge the people to have no independent thought and to not question authority. But the biggest surprise comes when Nada notices a strange humanoid with bulging eyes and molted skin. Upon removing the glasses, the man looks normal, but through the glasses, his true face is visible. He is one of the rich people who have sold their soul to the organization. Lastly, Nada sees "This is your God" written on paper money, indicating that money is the driving force the organization uses to manipulate people. The more Nada explores the neighborhoods, the more humanoids he comes across. He realizes that the world is filled with humanoids blending in with normal people. Most of such humanoids wear expensive clothes and seem to be wealthy. He accidentally tells a lady that she looks horrible, which makes her realize that he can see her true face. She and the humanoids behind her immediately call someone on their watch and inform them about Nada's location. A while later, two humanoid policemen find him and ask him where he got the sunglasses. They try to reel him into being one of them, but Nada doesn't want to join the organization. He's also well aware that if he refuses, he will die. When the men are distracted, he attacks them and kills them all before escaping. While on the run, he enters a local bank filled with humanoids, knowing that he's about to be killed one way or the other. Nada makes the first attack, firing on humanoids randomly. He then sees one of them disappear after twisting a watch. Before being caught, Nada flees the bank and ends up in a parking lot. There, he finds a woman named Holly and holds her at gunpoint, asking her to help him escape the police. The woman does as told and brings him to her house in the Hollywood Hills. Nada tries explaining the truth to her, but Holly remains unimpressed. She refuses to wear the glasses or believe anything he says. She acts sympathetic, but then pushes him out her window and calls the police, not knowing they are the bad guys. Nada hides through the night and goes to his workplace the next morning. He secretly meets Frank and asks for help, but because news has spread that he's a murderer, Frank doesn't want to associate with him. Nada explains that the people he killed were not humans, but Frank remains uninterested in his story. To prove his innocence, Nada returns to where he disposed of the sunglasses. After retrieving them, he urges Frank to wear them, but they get into a fight. Nada forcefully makes Frank wear the glasses, and when Frank sees the humanoids nearby, he stops resisting. On their way to a hotel, Nada explains everything he knows. They realize they need to stop the sinister community of people, but don't know how. The next evening, they join the union that fled from the church before the police invasion. In the hideout, they are provided with lenses that do the same thing as the glasses, but are more discreet. While with the group, they find out that the humanoids are responsible for global warming. They are trying to change the atmosphere to be more suitable for them and are using up our resources. Most people who are hungry for power, fame, and money fall into their laps and are corrupted by them. The humanoids' watches are two-way radios that connect all of them to the mainframe of their existence. The group has been able to retrieve one of these watches. The leader of the group says the best way to end the sinister beings is by revealing their truth to the world. This can be done by destroying the radio signal that delivers subliminal messages to humans through mass media. If they destroy the signal, people will be able to see the real faces of the humanoids, even without the special glasses. Later, Holly also joins the community after finding the truth by wearing the glasses left behind by Nada. She works at a broadcasting company and knows about a possible location where the humanoids might be broadcasting subliminal messages. During a conversation, the police raid the place and are ordered to eliminate all rebels and the organization. The police force, made up of humans, has been misled to believe that the community they're attacking are government haters and terrorists. Many people die in the encounter, but Nada and Frank manage to escape into an alleyway. They find a secret portal by pressing a button on a humanoid watch and end up in an underground facility with heavily guarded areas. In one of the rooms, the humanoids are throwing a party for their human collaborators, while Nada and Frank disguise themselves in the crowd. Suddenly, a humanoid who has recently been sold to the organization shows them around the facility. He brings them to a station that acts as a transport measure to bring the humanoids from another world to Earth. The duo is shocked to discover that the humanoids are actually aliens or corrupted humans being turned into aliens. After that, they are taken to the studio of a local TV station where it is revealed that the station is the source of the signal that corrupts people's minds. Nada and Frank, both portrayed as the key characters, eliminate the guards and trigger an alarm, which alerts everyone. Their objective is to shut down the signal disk on the roof, as doing so will stop the subliminal messages and reveal the true faces of the humanoids to people. Holly, who survived a police raid, joins them and brings them to the broadcasting disk on the roof. Unfortunately, she turns against them and fatally shoots Frank, but Nada, determined to act, destroys the broadcast antenna. Despite Nada's demise, his actions lead to chaos as people finally see the reality of the mass media they had been exposed to. This reveals the presence of humanoids among them, exploiting human resources.